was the ice on lake and river, fell the snow o'er all the landscape, fell the covering snow, and drifted through the forest round the village. Hardly from his buried wigwam could the hunter force a passage. Vainly walked he through the forest, saw no track of deer or rabbit, fell and could not rise from weakness. Oh, the wasting of the famine, oh, the blasting of the fever, oh, the wailing of the children, oh, the anguish of the women. All the earth was sick and famished. Hungry was the air around them, hungry was the sky above them, and the hungry stars in heaven, like the eyes of wolves, glared at them. Far away, amid the forest, rose the desolate Hiawatha. Heard that sudden cry of anguish, heard the voice of Minnehaha. Hiawatha! Hiawatha! And he rushed into the wigwam, saw his lovely Minnehaha lying dead and cold before him. With both hands his face he covered, speechless, motionless, unconscious of the daylight or the darkness. You shall hear how Paupukiwis, he, the handsome Yenadise, vexed the village with disturbance. You shall hear of all his mischief and his flight from Hiawatha and his wondrous transmigrations at the end of his adventures. Now from his lodge went Paupukiwis, climbed upon the rocky headlands, perched himself upon their summit. Round him hovered, fluttered, rustled Hiawatha's mountain chickens, and he killed them as he lay there, slaughtered them by tens and twenties, threw their bodies down the headland. Perched upon a crag about them, at length shouted Kayoshk the seagull, "It is Paupukiwis! He is slaying us by hundreds. Send a message to our brother, tidings. Send to Hiawatha." Full of wrath was Hiawatha when he came into the village, found the people in confusion, heard of all the misdemeanors, all the malice and the mischief of the cunning Paupukiwis. roared, his breath came through his nostrils. Through his teeth he buzzed and muttered words of anger and resentment. I will slay this Pau Pukiwis, slay this mischief maker. Not so rude and rough the way that my wrath shall not attain him. I will slay this Pau Pukiwis, slay this mischief maker. Not so long and wide the world that my vengeance shall not reach him. Then in swift pursuit departed Hiawatha and the hunters. And aloud cried Hiawatha from the summit of the mountain, not so long and wide the world, not so rude and rough, but my wrath shall overtake you, and my vengeance shall attain you. Over rock and over river, through bush and brake and forest, ran the cunning Pau Pukiwis. Like an antelope he bounded, till he came unto a streamlet in the middle of the forest, to a streamlet still and tranquil that had overflowed its margins. Over rock and over river, through bush and brake and forest, ran the cunning Pau Pukiwis, to a dam made by the beavers, to a pond of quiet water. On the dam stood Pau Pukiwis, o'er his ankles flowed the streamlet, flowed the bright and silvery water. And he spake unto the beaver, with a smile, he spake in this wise. Cool and pleasant is the water. Let me dive into the water. Let me rest therein. Change me too into a beast. Then he heard a cry from above him, heard a shouting and a tramping. Through the roof looked Hiawatha, vain your manifold disguises. With his club he beat and bruised him, beat to death poor Pau Pukiwis. But the ghost, the Jebi in him, still lived on as Pau Pukiwis, and it fluttered, strove and struggled, till it took the form and features of the cunning Pau Pukiwis, vanishing into the forest. Next, the people of the village saw the wings of Pau Pukiwis flapping far up in the ether, followed fast by Hiawatha. Then the cunning Pau Pukiwis, once again in human figure, came unto the headlands. There without stood Hiawatha, smote great caverns in the sandstone, cried aloud in tones of thunder, "Open! I am Hiawatha!" But the old man of the mountain opened not. "Open! I am Hiawatha!" Then he raised his hands to heaven, called imploring on the tempest, called Wewasimo the lightning, and the thunder, Animiki, and they came with night and darkness, sweeping down the big sea water from the distant thunder mountains, and the trembling Paupokiwis heard the footsteps of the thunder, saw the red eyes of the lightning, was afraid, and crouched, and trembled. Then Wewasimo the lightning smote the doorways of the cavern. With his war club smote the doorways, smote the jutting crags of sandstone, and the thunder Animiki shouted down into the caverns. Where is Paupokiwis? And the crags fell. And beneath them, dead among the rocky ruins, lay the cunning Paupokiwis, lay the handsome Yenedize, slain in his own human figure. By the shore of Gichigumi, Hiawatha stood and waited. Gone was every trace of sorrow. As of one who in a vision sees what is to be, but is not. On the shore stood Hiawatha, launched his birch canoe for sailing, sailed into the fiery sunset, sailed into the dusk of evening. Thus departed Hiawatha in the purple mists of evening to the regions of the home wind, to the land of the hereafter. Should you ask me, whence these stories? With the curling smoke of wigwams, with the rushing of great rivers and their wild reverberations as of thunder in the mountains, I should answer, I should tell you. From the forests and the prairies, from the great lakes of the Northland, from the land of the Ojibways, from the land of the Dakotas, I repeat them as I heard them from the lips of Nawadaha, the musician, the sweet singer. There he sang of Hiawatha, sang the song of Hiawatha, how he lived and toiled and suffered that he might advance his people. Ye who love the haunts of nature, love the sunshine of the meadow and the thunder in the mountains whose innumerable echoes flap like eagles in their eyries, listen to these wild traditions, to this Song of Hiawatha. As unto the bow the cord is, so unto the man is woman. Though she bands him, she obeys him. Though she draws him, yet she follows. Thus the youthful Hiawatha said within himself and pondered. Much perplexed by various feelings. Listless, longing, hoping, feeling, dreaming still of Minnehaha, of the lovely laughing water. There the ancient arrow maker made his arrowheads of sandstone. With him dwelt his dark-eyed daughter, wayward as a Minnehaha, with her moods of shade and sunshine. Eyes that smiled and frowned alternate, tresses flowing like the water, and as musical a laughter. And he named her from the river, from the waterfall, he named her Minnehaha, laughing water. Was it then for heads of arrows that my Hiawatha halted in the land of the Dakotas? Was it not to see the maiden, see the face of laughing water peeping from behind the curtain, hear the rustling of her garments from behind the waving curtain? As one sees the Minnehaha gleaming, glancing through the branches, as one hears the laughing water from behind its screen of branches. Thus departed Hiawatha to the land of handsome women. Through uninterrupted silence with his moccasins of magic, and he journeyed without resting till he heard the Minnehaha. Straight the ancient arrow maker looked up gravely from his labor, bade him enter at the doorway, saying as he rose to meet him, Hiawatha, you are welcome. And the lovely laughing water seemed more lovely as she stood there, neither willing nor reluctant, as she went to Hiawatha, softly took the seat beside him, while she said, and blushed to say it, I will follow you, my husband. Pleasant was the journey homeward, through interminable forests, over meadow, over mountain, over river, hill, and hollow. Short it seemed to Hiawatha, though they journeyed very slowly. Though his pace was checked and slackened to the steps of laughing water. From the sky benignant looked upon them through the branches, saying, O my children, love is sunshine, life is checkered, shade and sunshine. Rule by love, O Hiawatha. Thus it was they journeyed homeward. Thus it was that Hiawatha brought the sunshine of his people, Minnehaha, laughing water, handsomest of all the women in the land of the Dakotas, in the land of handsome women. You shall hear how Paupokiwis danced at Hiawatha's wedding. First he danced a solemn measure, treading softly like a panther. Then more swiftly and still swifter, whirling, spinning round in circles, leaping o'er the guests assembled, eddying round and round the wigwam, till the leaves went whirling with him like great snow drifts o'er the landscape. Then the gentle Chibiabos sang in accents sweet and tender. On a way, awake, beloved. Thou the wild flower of the forest, thou the wild bird of the prairie, thou with eyes so soft and fawn-like, if you only look'st at me, I am happy. I am happy as the lilies of the prairie when they feel the dew upon them. On a way, awake, beloved. And among the guests assembled at my Hiawatha's wedding sat the marvelous storyteller, and they said, "O good Iago, tell us now a tale of wonder." And Iago answered straightway, "You shall hear the strange adventures of Osseo, the magician." Once in days no more remembered in the Northland lived a hunter, with 10 young and comely daughters. All these women married warriors. Only Owini, the youngest, laughed and flouted all her lovers, and then married old Osseo, poor and ugly. But Osseo was transfigured, was restored to youth and beauty, but alas for good Osseo, and for Owini the faithful, changed into a weak old woman. Then a voice was heard, a whisper coming from the starry distance. "O Osseo, broken are the spells that bound you." Then the lodge began to tremble, and they felt it rising slowly through the air, ascending from the darkness of the treetop forth into the dewy starlight. And behold, the wooden dishes all were changed to shells of scarlet. And behold, the earthen kettles all were changed to bowls of silver. All the sisters and their husbands changed to birds of various plumage. Some were jays, some were magpies, others thrushes, others blackbirds. And they hopped and sang and twittered, pecked and fluttered all their feathers, and their tails like fans unfolded. Then returned the youth and beauty of Owini the youngest, and her staff became a feather, yes, a shining silver feather. Such was Hiawatha's wedding. Such the dance of Paupukiwis. Such the story of Iagu. Such the songs of Chibiabos. Thus the wedding banquet ended, and the wedding guests departed.